Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Jernigan, and this is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. I'm happy to be here with you all, and it looks like we have a real good-sized group today. And I'm excited to introduce a longtime observer of the meeting, Sergio, who comes to us from Spain.
Oh, wow.
So we're excited to see him. I've seen some of his work that he sent us pictures of. And so with that, let me greet everyone, and then we'll have a little discussion with Sergio. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Wally.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Serena.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hi, Sung.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
And finally, hi, Sergio.
Hi there.
I know you've been watching for weeks and weeks, if not longer, because you comment almost every week, and we have greeted each other a number of times. And it's so nice to finally put a face to the name, and I'm really happy you joined us. And let this be a lesson to all the rest of you who are watching every week, because I know there are more of you. If he can come to us from Spain when it's what, 11:30 at night or something?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
If you make the
11:30
extra
at
effort,
night.
you can join us too, and we will be so happy to meet you all. So
And I'm really happy, excited to be here after 5 years or even more, because I'm
Oh,
checking
wow.
this morning, and it's from I think 2020. I'm not yes from the very first time, because I don't remember if I knew about Frank Jernigan, about Phrancko, about because of Susan Ryan's, or perhaps your videos about traveling stitches. You remember? They
yes,
were for me, they were amazing back these days, because I love them. And I think, I'm not sure, but perhaps it was your videos, and then I follow and watching your things and into the blog, and I was so interested in the sweater, the Phrancko sweater. So I have a surprise. It's the baby sweater. It's here.
Oh, how nice. Look at
It's,
that.
I think it's 5 years ago, and it's a color because I wanted to see where it's beginning. You see,
Oh.
Oh, all right.
different colors to see to trace the back.
Different
So white, pink, blue, etc. But I have some problems, so now it's time to knit another one, I think.
yes, maybe a little larger
So
size
for
next
mine.
time. Would you hold that up again? Hold it up next to your face, so I might be able to get a image that we can use for the thumbnail.
I don't know if you can see the different colors.
Hold it.
Oh, there you go.
Look around
Nice.
it. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
This is white.
Very nice.
Let's see, because with the pink, but this and this are the white is the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Then you join with the pink.
Oh, all right.
So different colors to see how it was knitted.
That's
great.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
What do the
But
bottom of the sleeves look like, Sergio?
no, but the city, because I didn't have it's not this is the same color. It's just I changed color. Probably, I don't know.
No,
I don't
that's nice.
But it's nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just to see. So, once more, I had problems with I remember, but probably when joining to knitting the round, but you had the video about picking up stitches, and it was perfect with that. And I had problems with the size of the needles. I remember it was a problem, so I want to try again. Before I want to make my own sweater, but I'm going to knit again the baby sweater, because I had the problem with the size
What is
of the needles.
What is
the cable? I mean, the cable needle.
Yeah.
I remember it was really tough to control the joining in the round. I don't remember, but yes.
Well,
So
okay. try another baby sweater then, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can help me now.
Yes, that's why we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Frank, you know where your instructions say, I think it's cast on 16 stitches, cable cast on for the front of the neck, and then in really bold letters, it's a separate sentence that says, make sure your work's not twisted.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's I'm sorry. Oh,
It's-
yes, cable cast
Yeah,
on. Yes.
Yeah.
the
Make sure the
cable
work is
cast.
not twisted. Right.
Yeah. Can you put it in really big letters, please?
Yeah,
Well,
I have
read
twisted it. Yes.
It's an obvious thing you would think, and I didn't have it in the pattern, and I twisted it once.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's possible to twist it and then realize, oh no, I've got to take that out and do it again.
That was after I'd frogged it because I wasn't happy with the gauge and a few other things. So I frogged it and I knitted it again, and then I twisted it the second time.
So
It's like,
print
oh.
that in red or something. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. I've had a week of every project that's failed, and they've all been thrown in the corner in a big pile, you know.
When I do introductory knitting and crochet classes, honestly, I always have a list of frustrating inevitabilities. Like, don't twist your work. You will, and you'll never stop.
You're absolutely right.
Don't work your tail. You will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll never quit, but don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable.
Well, I have another one where there's a mistake you can make in a Phrancko pattern, and I just made it today.
Oh,
You'd think I'd know how to knit my own sweater after knitting so many, and I would watch out for these things. But as you're knitting the sleeve, if you recall, in a Phrancko sweater, it's a tapered sleeve, and the upper end of the sleeve, if you do it the default way that the pattern presents, it says knit so many rounds, say 7 rounds 8 times or
Mhm.
10 times. Then knit 6 rounds 5 more times. So the first section you're knitting rounds that are 7 rounds at a time, and the second section it's 6 rounds at a time. And I've done this before. I've knitted about 3 sections in the second part of the sweater and continued at the higher number of rounds. So
Okay.
today I had knitted 3 sections using 7 rounds when I was supposed to be doing 6 in each one of those sets, and I had to rip it back. However, that also revealed to me another problem that I was worried about. I might as well go on and talk about that. I think I mentioned last week I'm going to be playing Yarn Chicken because I think I might run out of one of the colors.
Right.
And I stopped knitting one sleeve before I did the cuff to make sure I had enough to do the other sleeve. And so when I got near the end of the sleeve, I could see I'm going to run out.
Oh.
And I'm going to run out something like 10 rounds before the end of the sleeve, before the cuff.
Mm.
10 rounds around the wrist.
Oh,
That's how much yarn short I am.
Ah.
So I would like to present a question to you all. What would you do in that case?
Make
I
it a
would
different
find
color.
the next closest color
Yep.
and do helical knitting to double the length of the yarn that I have and still use a semi-appropriate color.
You mean change the pattern?
No, just like helical knitting the wrist so that the rows alternate with the next closest color to the one you're missing so that it
Well,
goes.
it's a 2-colored pattern.
Oh, I see.
So I'm following. Let me.
It's not right at the cuff. It's at the, or the wrist is 2-colored.
It's right. Yeah. See, it's this color I'm going to run out of, and I'm about to change to it for the last time, and I need to make it this much, but it's only going to be this much before it runs out.
Have you got enough of the blue if you were to not do that and just
Here
knit
it
it in
is.
plain blue?
Oh, wow.
That's all the yarn I have left.
Well, you could stretch it, Frank.
Stretch the yarn. Oh, well, that would work
That would
until
work.
So
Well, well,
what-
I had another idea. See, I didn't do the cuff on the other sleeve because I was worried about this very problem. And so one idea I had was here's the other sleeve with that section in it.
Mhm.
And I thought I could take 5 rows out of this and use the yarn to finish 5 extra rows on the other one, and they would match.
Uh-huh.
The sleeves would be maybe a ½ inch to an inch shorter
Well, just make the ribbing longer.
and make the ribbing longer.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I would do, except that's what I would do in many cases. I've decided a different plan though, and that is I'm just simply going to buy another skein of this color, and I'm going to use a very small amount of that skein for $25 just so I can finish, so that the sweater matches the pattern that will be published in the magazine.
Yeah.
That's the other
Yeah.
issue I have. If I shorten the sweater, then my sweater that I'm presenting to the world is not the same as the pattern describes. So I just couldn't let that happen. So I'm going to shell out another $25 for another skein of the yarn. And the reason I can do that is because it is this variegated yarn, and it doesn't matter if the dye lot is almost completely different. It doesn't really matter. It'll be close enough that you'll never see it in the pattern part that I'm doing.
And
At
I
least
think
that's my hope.
that's an appropriate thing to do in a pattern that you're publishing, because how many times have we as knitters looked at the pattern, looked at the model, and thought, and the not just some like the tester's model, but the designer's model, and thought that's not the same. And got your magnifying glass out and counted the rows in their pattern and going, what's going on?
That's right.
Confusing.
That's right. And it would be quite visible because somebody would say, wait a minute, I'm knitting more rows than Frank in the pattern than Frank shows on his sleeve, because you can tell how short the colored section is.
Yeah.
So I thought there would be multiple solutions, and stretching the yarn was not one I had thought of, Cindy.
Well, I didn't say it would work. It was an idea.
Yeah. Do a bunch of decreases right now so that the yarn will go farther with fewer stitches.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, who needs to get their hand in anyway?
But I can't tell you, I've knitted the whole sleeve looking back at my yarn supply saying, am I going to run out? Am I going to run out? Oh no, I'm getting really close to the end. Am I going to run out? Oh, I'm running out. Oh, wait a minute. I knitted 7 rounds on these last 3 sections. It should have been 6. So then I had to rip those out. Now do it again. So just once again, I prove that you can be a master hand knitter certified by TKGA and still make the silliest mistake.
I wish someone had told me as a beginner knitter that you will spend almost every project, there will be some ripping out, or there will be some frogging or some tinking or whatever. Because I think I spent the first 2 years putting up with stuff that I wasn't happy with, but I just kept on with it because I wanted to finish it and get it done and that sort of thing. And I think it's a really important thing to let a beginner knitter know.
Yeah,
we all make mistakes, and it's all
a natural part of the process.
It is part of the process. But I never realized that until not recently, but in the last few years. I just think it's a good thing to let beginner knitters know that it is okay to do that.
Agree.
Yeah. Okay, I'm next.
Okay, Wally.
Okay, Wally.
I got to the point where I put the V-neck together.
Yeah, you join the neck.
All right. Now, when you wrote the front neck shaping, it was telling you how to increase in the sleeves and in the where the V-neck was. But now on the bottom of your work, it says when you start increasing the rows, like you were saying, every other row or every third row, it says you're supposed to have 22 stitches. On my sleeve caps, I have 66 stitches now.
No.
What?
Yep. And
How did you get 66?
Because I was increasing in back and front. But the thing is I took it off the needles this morning and put it on a barber cord, and it fits.
Okay. Do you remember where to find the pattern number so I can look it up and look at it?
Yes, you have it in the back. I was looking at this and looking at this, and I said, I'm stopping and going to say, Frank, what am I doing wrong? 3209.
3209.
And so where exactly are you in the knitting, Wally?
I just connected the V-neck together.
So you just connected the V-neck. So you've done part of the sleeve cap.
And did part of the sleeve caps. And now on the next sleeve caps, we're just doing the sleeve caps and we're extending them out. And it's well, it's increasing the way Frank has his how he does that diagram.
Right. Yeah.
And at the end of this work, it says you're supposed to have 44 stitches between the sleeves. I already have 66. I'm going to end up with 90 stitches. Ta-da!
Yep, it does say you're supposed to have 44.
Right.
But that's
the 44 is for the front sleeve, the fronts.
No, that's with the sleeve cap markers. That's on the sleeve cap.
Yeah, 44 stitches on each side of the front.
I don't know what you mean by front. They're the sides.
The front of the sweater.
It's it's not the front. It's the side.
Okay, on
the side runs from front to back.
All right. So I have to rip it back out.
No.
No? Okay.
Where are you saying show me what you're calling the front?
Oh. Okay. Where's the
Yeah, where's your sleeve cap
fronts.
marker?
Yeah, these are the fronts.
Okay, and then where's the sleeve cap marker?
The sleeve caps are over here.
You have two markers marking the sleeve cap?
Yes.
Show me those.
I'm trying to, here they are. Here they are.
How many stitches are between those two markers?
66.
Then you did something wrong.
Thank you. What did I do? I was increasing on the sleeve because it says increase on sleeve cap simultaneously as you're doing the front.
But not every row though.
Yes, but it's not every row.
Did you do it every row?
It's one of those that you're doing them at the same time, but not every single row.
Okay.
Did you do it every row?
Yes.
That's the problem.
You're
supposed to do it in accordance with the section that says shaping sleeve caps.
Right.
Where it says sleeve cap shaping.
Right.
That's where you start with the 22. Well, it's not 22 stitches. It was, how many stitches did you pick up across the
14.
You picked up
14 on the sleeve cap when I started.
And you started with 14 stitches between sleeve caps. Then you worked front neck shaping.
Right.
You did another pair of rows to increase it to 18 stitches between sleeve markers.
Right.
Okay. Then
I should have just
doing
stopped.
front neck shaping, you're also supposed to follow the instructions in sleeve cap shaping.
Right.
Where you work an increase every second row. See, that's not every row.
All right.
That's every second row.
But when you say every second row, is it the front or is it on the knit side or is it on the purl side?
Oh,
Thank you.
no, it's whichever one it is. Since if your neck has not closed yet, you're going to be doing both.
Okay.
So you just count every time you pass the sleeve cap markers. So it might be that the first time you pass, you're going on the knit side, and then you go back on the second side, and that's the purl side. So you increase 2 times.
Right.
And then you're knitting on the next row, and you don't do that one, and then you're purling back, and so you do that one increases because that's the second time. And you do that every second row for 2 times. And then on the next 3 rows, you're knitting on one side, purling on the other side. And then on the knit side, you're going to do 2 increases on each sleeve cap.
Okay. So I'll pull it back out to the 14 stitches and start from there.
Well, or the 18 stitches, maybe
18
save
stitches,
yourself
yeah.
a couple of rounds.
All right. Yeah, 18 stitches. All right. So that's why I stopped, because I said there's something wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So with a V-neck, Frank, I don't remember, where is the beginning of round? Is it at the shoulder or is it at the center? I
It's
thought it was
not
at
the center,
front.
but I don't
No,
remember
it's
which shoulder it is.
It's at the
But it's
beginning.
one shoulder.
Where's my color?
I think it's the left front.
It's the left. It's the left. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The beginning of the round is on the left shoulder.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
that's why I stopped.
I'm glad you did.
Well, it's good that you
And if
stopped. Otherwise, you
because
were
it
going to
goes-
have
if
I
those
said, I
markers-
got to talk to Frank about this. There's something wrong. I'm not a bodybuilder with shoulders like this. So
Excellent. Well, that's why we're here.
yes.
Answer questions and help people through it. That's my main purpose for starting these meetings. And it's turned into a wonderful knitting group where we just enjoy hanging out together and sharing our work. But whenever anybody has a problem, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Start again. Da, da, da.
Frank, if you let me, I would like to share my knitting experience, or
by all means.
Yeah.
And no, because I learned to knit by accident, because I work as an assistant to mentally ill people, like a carer. And a colleague told me, why don't we learn how to knit? Because we can do something, if we have some spare time from time to time, we can do something with the patients. Okay, let's learn. Finally, my colleagues and the patients were not interested. And for me, it was like a snowball rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling up to now. It was unbelievable. And I have to say, well, there's a moment I say, I am a knitter. There's something different. Yeah, because I like handicraft and everything. I do a lot of things, but now knitting it was into my mind like I don't know how up to now. And it was very important. For example, when you sometimes say something that for me is very important, when you say knitting has changed my life, and I feel the same, really, because. Yes, it's true. Because, for example, in the beginning, when I could see some videos, for example, Susan Bryant have a wonderful videos with what the name cables, intarsia cables. Intarsia cables were flat, and in the rest, oh my God, this is wonderful. I can do that. But with the time, I could do it. I was able to do it.
Yes.
And later on, knit to the stitch below. Oh, knit the stitch below. That's impossible. No. I can do it. So now I don't say no. I say, well, why not? I have to today, but I don't say no. But the same I do for my life. Instead of saying no, I say, well, why not? So next to knitting, I'm really open to live. I'm open to life. So that's why I say knitting has changed my life. It's really true. That's
nice.
it.
Well, it
Yep,
certainly changed
wonderful,
my life as well.
Yes, I
Yes.
feel my self-esteem or the way I feel it's better, and for my complexes and even frustrations, I can manage them better than before. With knitting, I guess more things, but yes, for me, knitting is really has changed my life. And sometimes, and it's true. For me, it's true.
How long have you been knitting, Sergio? How
No,
long have you been knitting?
I think like 7 years.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
Wow.
yeah.
Do you have any of your work nearby that you can hold up and show us?
Yes, I have because I have I'm knitting double knitting, but with stocking stitch, but and reverse, but it's cotton, so it's the gauge is absolute a disaster because it's very my tension is well, not the gauge because it's but my tension the tinker.
Fantastic.
Oh, look at that. That's
Oh,
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Very nice.
This is a stockinette, and this is
Yes.
reverse.
Oh boy.
And it's
That is,
double-sided.
nice.
Yeah,
Double knit.
That is very nice.
Yeah,
Well, if
wonderful.
you've accomplished that, you can
Yes.
learn anything.
Yeah.
You can.
But it's really the tension is really bad. It's because of the you see even gatherings, absolute disaster. I like double knitting. I like brioche, stranded color work. I like to learn things every day. With every new project, I'm doing knitted tuck stitch. Tuck stitch.
Oh,
From Caston, the magazine by Tonya Lyons. It's like a cow. I like shape and color just to mix them as both things. So that's what I like. Traveling stitches. I love them.
Cool. How
Oh,
nice.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, thank you.
But that double knitting's very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
I mean,
it.
you might think it's a disaster, but it looks really good on here.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Frank, can I ask you that reminds me of a question I had about your Phrancko sweaters. I understand how it works in stocking net, but how would you then use a Phrancko sweater to push it further with regards to cables or color work or anything like that?
Well, color work, you just do your swatch in the color you're going to use or the pattern you're going to use and use that gauge.
Right.
And that's assuming it's all over, I guess.
Yeah.
And with cables, there's two different kinds of cable work, essentially, all over cables or individual strands of cables, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
In other words, an all over cable would be cabling all over the pattern, in which case that's just like doing all over color work. You would knit your swatch in that pattern using those cables, all over cables, and then use the gauge from that swatch to put into the pattern and then just knit it in that. There's actually a technique you need to use if you're going to use bands of, like you want a cable to come over the shoulder and down the two sides.
Yeah.
And that cable pulls in, but the rest of the sweater is in stockinette or reverse stockinette. You would use the gauge of the stockinette for the pattern, but then you would have to calculate the stitch equivalents of, it's called the SES, the stockinette equivalent stitches for each of the cables. So the way you do that is you measure the width of the cable from a swatch of it. You measure the width. You calculate how many stitches of stockinette would cover that distance. And it's going to be fewer stitches than the actual cable has. And so you would add the number of stitches that are needed to make the cable as wide as the stockinette would be, if that makes sense. So let's say your cable is 4x4 and it's an inch wide. And so you've got 8 stitches per inch, but you're using yarn that's only 5 stitches per inch. So now your cable that is an inch wide is the equivalent of 5 stockinette stitches, but it takes 8 stitches to do it. You have to add 3 more stitches where that cable's going to go. Do you see?
So in the program then, would you put your stockinette gauge and then manually equate it to the width of the cable?
Exactly.
And supposing you were having a cable each side, you'd add 3 stitches here, 3 stitches here.
That's right.
And that
The pattern will say
equivalent.
some number of stitches to cast on, but you would cast on 3 more on each one.
Yeah, right. Gotcha. I understand that.
So that's how
fine.
you do it.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
And you've got some patterns in cast on, Frank, that have cables that are either just a panel of cables or overall cable patterns. There's several different patterns that you've published like that.
That's right.
Yeah, I was wondering how the programming of putting in your gauge and your measurements when your gauge isn't the same gauge all the way through the piece of work, how you would work it out, but that makes perfect sense.
You understand
Thank you.
the stitch, the stockinette stitch equivalents, and then you have to figure out where to add those extra stitches to make your cable as wide as it needs to be.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
is that the sweater that
Yeah, we want to see the sweater.
How can you miss it? Yeah, this is the sweater I finished. It's sort of I guess my violent take on a rugby jumper.
Wow.
Looks
nice. Yes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Oh wow, look at
like
that.
it.
That's nice. Yes.
It looks great.
Neck I really enjoy. So part of why I modified the V-neck to be very, very deep in the body of the sweater itself is to accommodate this it's a large neckline. The stockinette or the ribbing is very, very large. So once the ribbing is on, it's more normal V-neck size with the cutouts to be my start.
That's awesome.
It's a cool cutout though. It's very nice.
Festive.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
This neckline is almost star-like.
Yeah.
That's what it is, a star neckline. And you do this by figuring out how much you need to decrease here. I just chose arbitrarily a point, which was halfway through this band of color, because I thought it would look nice. And figuring out, taking this angle and what the complement is to make it 90 degrees here. So this part is more or less flat with the ground. So taking this angle and then working that, so that's flat, and then doing no shaping on this. So, hey, why did you curl under? So this part just follows the curve or the angle of the neck. So this has no shaping. This, you can't see it at all, but it's got the center double decreases.
Oh yeah.
In the ribbing up the middle. It's on black and violet.
Yeah,
And
the
then
violet doesn't show very well from a distance, but when you held it up, we could see it.
Yeah. So there's a tiny little violet
violet there.
and it's not this indigo color. It's a very, sort of matches my beard, a very vivid violet color. And
there's a way to adjust the color.
It's on the bottom hem as well.
Ron,
And
you
there's
and
no cutoff
Susan.
on the back, right? The back is just rounded. No cutoff in the back.
No.
No.
It's just a 34-inch tube
Yeah.
because
No, I
Ron,
meant the
you
collar. Yeah.
you and Susan need to go
and
out for
I
dinner
like a lot
sometime.
of length.
Yeah.
The fit looks great on you.
It
Yeah.
does.
Amazing.
And the fit is lovely, beautiful Phrancko fit. I use a very high, I mean, this might be 6 even. I would have to look at my pattern. This is a lot of positive ease because I don't like clothing that touches me. And that's also part of why the V-neck is so open.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very pleased with it. And while I'm here, I've started swatching for my next Phrancko, which is going to be
Oh, look at that.
something like
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
The open work. Yeah.
Open work, because we've been discussing it. So I'm going to do a summer
Yeah.
top that confirm your speaking language. Yes, I'm speaking English.
We're not seeing that, Ron.
Et maintenant, je parle français.
Très bien.
So I'm going to do an open work cardigan, lacy, and this is the stitch pattern I came up with. So I've swatched it in a cotton. That's this swatch. And I've swatched it in my new cashmere.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
We'll see these swatches. This one just got bound off, so they both need blocked, and I'll measure. And I just kind of have to decide what I want to do. So this is the all-over pattern, repeats from here to here. It's a 4-stitch repeat. The large eyelets that are basically holes, and all sort of arranged in nice right angles. This is a big flowy pull-on summer top. So that's what's coming up the pipe. Down the pipe? That's what's in the pipe.
Will that cotton stretch? Will that cotton yarn stretch?
Yes. So I will dress the swatch, meaning I'll add a little bit of weight to it to let it get its actual row gauge that it will be when worn. You can see the, well, same needles. And this one is all much more bouncy because it's an animal fiber. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated.
So Ron, talking about the cotton, because I don't like cotton, but in a place where I live, it's the south of Spain, and I live in a valley, which is the hotter, one of the hotter areas in Europe. So you cannot wear alpaca, mohair, angora, all those things. So I'm always I'm trying to use cotton, and I think, for example, in the U.S., it's happening. I guess it's not the same. The south of the south and the north is a different temperature. How do you? What do you do? You're always using wool because it's really difficult.
I use
and I like wool, but
right. No, I do too. I live in a valley here in California with a climate quite like Spain. So I live just like 80 miles north of the other Valencia. So a lot of people use cotton here, which is why I've swatched it in cotton, because I think as a summer garment, like right now it's a relatively cool day here and it's probably 27, 28 degrees. And so I think I will get more use out of this. But there are some breeds of cotton that are very, very luxurious. For example, Mako cotton is I'm seeing it in more products. Mako cotton, M-A-K-O. This is made of Mako cotton in a bulky weight. Tim made this. If you thought I had a deep V-neck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's wonderful, though.
Yeah,
He
that's
does have the
nice.
buttons for this, but they've never made it on. So now he's on Button Island.
I need to take the bottom part and open it back up and add like 3 inches.
Oh, beautiful colors.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
So
Mm.
this is a Mako cotton. It's very springy, very soft, but also lightweight. And so it has, I wouldn't say it is wool-like, but it does have some of the springy, bouncy qualities that one
Tim,
prizes.
you want to show us your bag?
Oh,
Well, yeah, but like, isn't that also
no,
what is
coastal
that?
cotton is not.
Which one? Which breed is that?
I think it's a Pima.
Pima cotton.
And then satiny that a few of you have
Jody
bought.
Long. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So there's if you can find breed specific cottons, and I think the Mako cotton from Satiny is a Spanish cotton, in fact. Yeah.
Mm.
Can you read this? Will it
Oh,
focus?
Satiny.
Jody Long Satiny. Yeah, we can read that.
Mhm.
Spanish Mako cotton. So in this kind of application, it has a lot of body. And I don't know, some of is it just Maggie who's Sidra's not here. Sidra got some too. Who could probably tell you about some of their experience using this cotton. Or no, who else got
Maybe
it?
Susan. Maybe
Susan got
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's right.
It has really great stitch definition.
Yeah. Susan
I
is
love that.
also somewhere abysmally hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about 33 here today, centigrade.
Mm.
Well, hello, Linda. You seem to have snuck in while we weren't looking.
Susan, do you want to give your report?
Welcome.
I mean,
I finally remembered.
Well, good. We're always glad to see you.
And Tim has
Who else
picked up-
has something they'd like to show us?
Oh, did Tim finish his bag?
he
Oh,
finished his
yeah.
bag, but he's
Tim.
also picked up his Phrancko, his last Phrancko to finish. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. What
it was on Sleeve Island for about a year.
Oh wow.
So I like the fabric on this. I would make a sweater or a blanket, and it would be really cuddly and
Same yarn as this,
and
actually.
it's got some bounce to it.
That's
Oh, wow.
what inspired me to swatch this to see if I
So
want a whole garment in it.
I would absolutely cuddle up in this. And then I'm working on
Perfect.
the sleeve of the sweater again.
Very good.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Finally back at it.
Can you hold it up a little bit, a little
Yeah.
more?
Let me get out of the way.
There we are.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
And what yarn is that?
Quite fun. This is a yarn that I hand dyed.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Beautiful.
Nice.
These are reinforced for steeking, and we'll get a very wide button
Oh.
band.
Very good.
I ended up picking a size with too much positive ease for myself.
Too little positive ease?
Or oh yes, too little.
Negative.
Negative.
It is form fitting.
I remember talking about the cables that, for example, in this book, you have the stitch equivalency in every
Yes,
in everyone.
that's right. That's where I learned of stitch equivalency in that
Yes.
book.
Oh, all right. There you go.
And
Wow.
who is that
Really
by? Wait, Sergio, who is that by?
This is
Nora Gunn?
Nora Goggins.
Yeah.
Yes, Nora Gogan's knitted cable
This is
source
cable
book.
source book.
That's right. And that's the only place I've seen stitch equivalency actually used on every cable, which I thought was really an amazing addition for a cabling book.
And it prevents from cable flare, no?
Yes, it prevents cable flare. You can even start and end cables in the middle of a stockinette stitch by simply increasing at the beginning of the cable and decreasing at the end of the cable.
It's very interesting.
Who
That
else
book
would-
right now on Amazon, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free.
What?
Oh, wow.
That's what it says. If you have
Really?
Kindle Unlimited, and we do, so I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Beautiful book.
Mhm.
Oh, I think I'll have to download that.
Just as a coffee table book, it's lovely.
Talk among yourselves a minute. I'm going to be right.
Cindy,
Yes, Mary.
where are you on your master pen level 3?
Well, all the swatches are done. All 19 swatches are done. And I still have 2 more that I'm going to block a little more. I got to figure out how to starch my doily. I haven't starched anything in probably like 30 years. But I want to starch my doily. But all the rest are in their little sheet protectors. Everything's in the notebook. All of my reports are done. All of my book reviews are done. And so the last parts for me is to design and knit the hat and the sweater. And one has to be Erin, and I'm going to do the hat in that. And the sweater is going to be Fair Isle. And so this week I had the grandson take some pictures of stuff in the garden. And then I pulled together
Oh, that's lovely.
different things,
Oh,
different colors that I
nice. Look
thought
at the
would look really
colors.
good to just kind of then swatch and try. So there's that one.
Sorry,
And-
sorry, Cindy. I'm still giggling about. I've never heard anyone say they've got to go and starch their doily.
I know. I mean, it's kind of like I have not done a Google search yet. I don't know what it's going to tell me. I'm a little bit afraid.
Starch your doily.
Starch your doily. How to starch your doily. So anyway, so this is some of the Columbines, and the roadies were in the background there, and so
Oh,
that's some of the
nice.
colors that I picked out. Just
Beautiful.
kind of looking at combinations to try. And this was the lilacs are blooming, and a little bit of just how blue the sky was there. That looked really nice. So that's one. But I think my favorite is, but I'm going to try all 3 of these. But I think my favorite one is the bleeding hearts.
Oh, look at them colors. Wow.
And the thing that I really liked about this one is you see this kind of like wave pattern that the bleeding heart had. There are some Fair Isle borders that kind of have that wave looking thing to them. So I could maybe even implement that in the design. So anyway, those are some of the ones that I'm looking at, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So that's where I am.
Did you know, Cindy, that you can download apps that you upload a picture and it will give you the colors that are actually in that picture, and it will associate them to people like Jameson and Smith. So you can actually.
I didn't know that. I'll have to look.
There are color apps that you can do that with.
Okay. Okay. I'll have to look at that.
Is there some way you can tell us where to find that, or what the app name is?
I'll see if I can find the name of it. Bear with me.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes,
Cindy,
Sergio.
I would like to thank you because I wrote something about, I was thinking about the TKGA, and you answered, made a comment of please do it because it's going to be a good gift for you. And you were absolutely right.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
It's the moment
Nice.
I became member of the TKGA. More than I thought. Much better than I thought. So thank you.
I'm so glad that worked well for you. It really is a great value. It's not very expensive for a huge amount of information and patterns. And
every day I have a lot of things to read, a lot of things to learn every day. Every day. It's very well organized, so you can find everything you want really easily. So thank you. It was a good idea.
Good. Glad I could help.
So speaking of TKGA, have any of you signed up for the November retreat?
No.
In San Francisco, November, I'm going to say 6 through 9, but something in that area.
Did you? Okay.
Thanks for telling us. I wasn't aware that the registration had opened.
Yeah, it opened May 1st, so it's not that long ago.
Ah,
I really
Well-
wanted to be in Cecilia Campicaro's class on reverse knitting.
Oh, yeah.
I got her book and it's just incredible, and I'm really looking forward to the class. So I wanted to sign up right away so that I could definitely get that class.
uh-huh.
But I can't even remember what the other ones are, but they all looked really good.
Well, I go to that conference every week, every year, and I'm going to have no
Well, that's
trouble
where we
going
met.
to it this
Yeah.
year. It's in San Francisco where I live.
I was considering it, but November is just such a busy month when you own a yarn shop. I have to leave Tim all by himself again.
Oh, no,
Oh, Tim, you don't want to have that. I put the link for the retreat in the chat, and it is November 6th to 9th.
Okay.
And that page talks about who's going to be teaching and everything. So.
Well, I would like to take a few minutes for a personal conversation, starting with Wally, because
Oh,
Wally,
wow.
you and Andrew have exchanged some letters, and
Yes.
he appreciated your response recently.
Mhm.
He had a patient years ago with the same last name that you have. And he was wondering about that, and you wrote a very lengthy letter back, and he really appreciated it. And he
Good.
wanted me to tell you that he appreciated it. And at the end, you asked him what his specialty was.
Right.
So that leads me to talk about something that's very personal to us, but I want to share it with all of you and the world. Andrew has written a book about his experiences. He is a virologist who specialized in HIV. And
Oh, how nice.
he was an AIDS doctor in the 80s and early 90s. He also had HIV himself. So he was watching his patients die one after another, never knowing when it would be his turn. But he kept treating people as long as he could. And he has written a book about his experiences. It's a memoir, and I want to share that with you all.
Let's see.
The book is called My Epidemic by Andrew M. Faulk, and it's available on Amazon, hard copy, paperback, or Kindle. And it's a very powerful book. I can only read a few pages at a time because I tear up. I tear up talking about it.
Yeah.
I'll put the link in the chat, and I'll also add it to the notes under the video when I post the video.
Well, I read the book, and yeah, it was read a few pages, cry a little bit. I do a lot of reading on airplanes, and I'm glad I started it at home because that was not a book I could read on an airplane. I get very embarrassed about sobbing openly on airplanes. And
I thought I was the only one who actually cried reading it.
No. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how it will affect somebody who wasn't a young adult in the 80s, but those of us who were, and I'm in the straight community, but I had a lot of friends in the gay community. And I just remember the conversations. Nobody knew what was happening. Andrew captures those feelings so well. It's such broader, you think, well, you're reading his memoir, but really you're reading a memoir of the 80s, of thousands of young men, a few women, not that many, but women were involved in the fight, even though they weren't they weren't ill in the same ways. And it was very moving. And knowing all of that, it makes some of the things that happen today even feel worse.
Yeah.
One of my friends that he was a nurse in the 80s there in Stony Brook, and he was the only one that could take care of the AIDS patients because no one in Stony Brook wanted to go in the ward at all.
Yes,
So,
he tells
yeah.
stories about
Yeah.
those kinds of things. There were
Yeah.
nurses who would leave the food outside
Outside the door. Yes. Tony told me that. It's unbelievable. So,
And he also tells stories about family members that are just tragic.
mm-hmm.
Family members who didn't know their son or brother was gay until he got AIDS, and then they rejected him in his final months. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. So many horrible stories. Andrew had over 50 patients who have passed away. I think he knows two that he had who are still alive. So in the 80s, if you got HIV, you thought it was a death sentence, and it was for almost everyone. So he was very fortunate, and I'm very fortunate that he survived. We've had a wonderful life together. We had our 20th anniversary since the day we met a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
So we've been together a long time, and he like many people with long-term AIDS, he has certain symptoms that recur occasionally, and we just deal with those, and he deals with it a lot. So anyway, I just wanted to share that as a personal note as we got to the end of the meeting, and I really am happy to share that with you, my friends, and to share his success with the world, and hope that some more of you will read his book. So why don't we end with that? And it's kind of hard to follow, I suppose. So why don't we just say, howdy.
Next week.
Coming,
See you next
Nice
week.
meeting you, Sergio.
See you
Good
next
to see
week,
everybody.
and I hope
Thanks
you
for
all
coming,
come back
Sergio.
again.
Yeah.
Maggie, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.